One of the things I wasted a lot of time trying to understand was this quality called ungettable. I searched relentlessly and exhausted myself trying to find an answer that explained how to become someone who cannot be obtained. I read books, watched videos, analyzed every interaction I had, and still, I could not grasp the underlying mechanism. Until one day, when I was dating a girl, something clicked. If you have been following me for a long time, then you know that in my 20s, especially in my early 20s, I was obsessed with women and with trying to understand them on a fundamental psychological level. I was not always proud of who I was back then. I could date 3 girls and be in relationships with them at the same time. I used to talk to girls I had absolutely no interest in, just for the experience and to understand women better. One of those girls was someone I truly had no interest in, but she became obsessed with me. And one of the things I did with her, without even realizing it, was that I was ungettable to her. I did certain things naturally that made me seem like someone she could never fully have. After that, my relationship with this girl became a school where I learned the quality of the ungettable man. To help you understand me better, I treated this girl well. I went out with her, replied to her quickly, and sometimes bought her things. Yet, somehow, I felt like I was someone she could never fully have. After analyzing my relationship with her, and after researching and reading a lot about human psychology, attraction, and relationship psychology, I was finally able to understand the meaning of the ungettable man. So listen to me carefully now. This girl always asked me one question: "What do you want from me?" As time passed, I realized that this question was the secret of the ungettable man. The way to become someone who cannot be obtained is to make a girl ask herself this question without ever knowing the answer. Let me start from the beginning and explain everything step by step. Every girl in this world, the moment she talks to you, asks one question internally: what does this man want from me? Whether she wants to or not, she will ask this question. And this is not a question she asks with her conscious mind. It is asked by a much older part of her brain, a part that has been shaped by thousands of years of evolution. From a young age, a girl is approached by men constantly. Messages, compliments, help she never asked for, and friends who are not truly innocent friends. She knows that none of this comes for free. So her brain has created a scanner that asks certain questions. And one of the most important of these questions is, what does this man want from me? Now, she is not going to come and ask you this question directly on the first date. Instead, she will observe your behavior, analyze it, and then figure out what you want from her. And if you have been following the How to Attract Women series, then you know that the scanner inside her does this without her even realizing it. In other words, while you are talking to her, she is analyzing you. Imagine that you are talking to a girl and you only want to go out with her at night. You only talk to her about which night she is free so that you can go out, and you try to meet her after 10 p.m. Over time, this will make her say to herself, "This man only wants sex." Or, for example, if she talks to you about another man who is trying to get close to her, and you do not care or pay any attention to it at all, she may start thinking that you only want to pass the time, nothing more. But, for example, if you get jealous, ask her what she is doing next week, and ask when she is going on vacation. Then she will understand that you want her for the long term and that you want to secure a relationship with her. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but to wish them to happen as they do happen. When it comes to attraction, this means understanding that you cannot force a woman to feel a certain way about you, but you can control what you reveal about your intentions. And that control is the foundation of the ungettable quality. Let me tell you a golden rule that I want you to remember for the rest of your life. The moment a girl knows what you want from her, she becomes the one who controls the relationship. She becomes the one who decides whether or not to give you what you want. Imagine that I have a document, and you need this document to take care of something. At that point, you need me, and you will do anything you can to get it because I have something you want. Even if you ask me for the document, I may not want to give it to you because once I give it to you, you will no longer need me, and I will no longer have control. But imagine that I do not know you want that document. You can come, interact with me, and then say, "Give me the document," and I will give it to you because I do not know that you need it in the first place, and I do not know that by giving it to you, I will lose control. This rule is not only about girls, it is a normal rule of human nature. If you want something, never show that you want it. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And when you imagine that you need to reveal your intentions to secure a relationship, you are suffering from a fear that is not grounded in reality. The reality is that revealing your intentions too early gives away your power. How can you show a girl that you do not want anything from her? The most important thing you need to know is that this is impossible. It is impossible for a girl to say to herself, "This man does not want anything from me." Imagine with me that this is a man, and this is a woman, and this man goes to talk to the woman. It is impossible for this man not to want something from this woman. That is human nature. There must be something he wants, unless they are just genuine friends. And of course, women are not stupid. They know this. She knows that this man wants something from her. And there is nothing a man can do that will make a woman say, "This man does not want anything from me." But now you are going to say to me, "But you have been telling me this whole time that I should not want anything from her if I want to be ungettable." Actually, no, that is not what I told you. What I told you is that you should not answer her question, "What does this man want from me?" In other words, when she asks herself, "What does this man want from me?" the answer to that question should not be nothing. Because if the answer is nothing, you will end up in the friend zone. The answer should be, "I do not know." She should not know what you want from her. Now you are going to ask me the most important question in this entire video. How do I do that? So please listen to me carefully now. The rule is simple. You are going to be ungettable, meaning you will behave in a way that makes her understand that you only want to pass the time. But every now and then, you will pull her closer to you. You will show her that you see her seriously. First, let me explain how to show her that you only want to pass the time, and then we will move on to how to pull her closer to you. The first thing is to reduce communication and only contact her when you want to meet her. This is one of those golden pieces of advice that you should live by for the rest of your life. As much as possible, try not to talk to a girl except to meet her. Do not talk to her just for the sake of talking. Of course, sometimes you will need to talk to her or send her a message from time to time, but establish one rule in your mind. Do not talk to her without a purpose. In other words, do not check on her or contact her unless there is a purpose, something important. And of course, one of the purposes you will have is meeting her. Quite simply, before sending a message, ask yourself, why am I sending this message? If there is a reason, send it. If you only want to send it for the sake of sending something, do not send anything. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should waste no time arguing about what a good man should be, but be one. And part of being a good man is not wasting your time or her time on meaningless interactions. When you communicate with purpose, you communicate value. Second, do not make plans too far in advance. This is extremely important. So many men start talking to a girl, and then you find them saying to her, "Next month, I am traveling to Italy. What do you think about coming with me?" Or they say, "Next week, there is going to be a good movie at the cinema. What do you think about going together?" With a girl, always stick to plans in the near future. When she hears you telling her, "Next month, we are going somewhere," she will see herself as already having secured you. In other words, she will understand that you like her and that you want her. She should not know what is coming next. And look, I know some people will tell me that this is manipulation, but no, it is not. It is called seduction. It means not being boring, making the girl genuinely want you, and making her enjoy spending time with you. And in case she is the one who wants to make a plan far in advance, if she tells you, "Let's go somewhere next week," tell her, "When the time comes, we will see." In other words, do not make distant plans with her. Always stick only to things in the near future. Third, and this is important, do not include her in your future decisions. Talk about your future goals and the things you want to do in the future, but do not include her in them. Let us assume that the two of you have started dating. This is a mistake that many men make. They are afraid to talk about their future plans in front of a girl. For example, suppose you live in the United Kingdom and are thinking about moving to the United States in the future for your career. When you are dating a girl, You may be afraid to tell her this because you think that if you do, she will see you as someone who cannot commit. In other words, you have future plans that she may not be able to be part of. And because commitment is important to a girl, you think she will leave you and walk away. This entire mindset is completely wrong. Telling a girl about your future plans is one of the most seductive things you can do, because when you tell her those things, what she says to herself is, "What can I do to make him love me and change his mind?" By doing this, you create a kind of challenge for her. At the same time, she sees you expressing what you want without caring about her opinion. And even though this may seem like something small, this is what a girl relies on to analyze your personality. And this is a golden rule. A girl does not care that much about big things. She focuses on the details and the small things. For example, you may buy her an expensive gift for her birthday and she will not care that much about it. But you may buy her something simple and small that she mentioned to you on an ordinary Tuesday, and she will see it as something huge, because this is how a girl is made. She focuses on details and small things because those are the things that are genuine and difficult to fake. Fourth, never answer the question, "What are we?" This is something you should never do, not only to be ungettable. You should not answer a girl when she asks, "What are we?" In other words, you start dating, you go out together, and you sleep together. One day, she will ask you, "What are we now?" Or, "What kind of relationship are we in right now?" Your answer to this question should always be, "I do not know. I like what we have right now." The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. When you refuse to define the relationship prematurely, you are mastering your own impulses. You are not letting her need for definition control your actions. You are maintaining your freedom. And that freedom is attractive. When you do everything I have told you in this video, you will have shown her that you are not interested in commitment and that you only want to pass the time. What will happen here is that she will do what any girl would do. She will distance herself from you as soon as possible. This is where you need to start doing certain things that pull her closer to you. In other words, you will start behaving in ways that show her that you want commitment. What are these behaviors? The first behavior is jealousy, but here I need to stop and explain this trait to you properly, because if you apply it the wrong way, you will lose the girl. Jealousy is a feminine trait. If you have it excessively, it will make any girl in this world leave you. It is one of the worst behaviors you can have. But when you appear uninterested and then show a small, controlled amount of jealousy, that is when jealousy becomes valuable. For example, the girl I told you about at the beginning of the video, I behaved normally with her. I was not jealous. I did not care, and I lived my life normally. One day, she entered the gym and I saw her training with the coach. It was very obvious that the coach did not have good intentions toward her. He did not see her as just one of his trainees. So what did I do? I went over to her, looked directly into her eyes, and told her, "This is the last time you train with this coach." A certain amount of anger appeared on my face, and it was clear that I did not like what was happening. And do you know what happened? Her attraction to me increased because at first she believed that I was someone who did not care, did not want her, and was not interested in her. She thought she had figured out the answer to the question, "What do you want from me?" But the moment I showed a small amount of jealousy, she said to herself, "What? Who is this man? Where is this guy trying to take this?" And the whole movie started again from the beginning. The conclusion is this: as long as you are showing disinterest, you have the right to show a little jealousy. The second thing is to, from time to time, act like her boyfriend. When the two of you are alone, sometimes act like her boyfriend. For example, if you go to the cinema together or you are sitting together having dinner, hold her hand, speak to her in a sweet way, and say things such as, "You are mine." In other words, when the two of you are alone, treat her as if you are her boyfriend. The third and final thing is one of the best techniques I will explain to you in the How to Attract Women series. To explain this technique, I will start with an example. This is something that happened to me with a girl. I used to go out with this girl. I hugged her and kissed her whenever I got the chance. I was genuinely attracted to her, but I had a problem. I was very, very broke at the time. I was living with some friends and sleeping on the couch, and I had not told her that. One day she said to me, "I want to come to your house." At that time, I was still very young, and I was too embarrassed to tell her, "No, you cannot. I am sleeping on a couch at some friend's house." So I started creating excuses to stop her from coming to my house, such as telling her that I would be busy or that I needed to sleep early that night. When I did this, she did not know why. Her mind could not understand how a woman could tell a man, "I want to come to your house," and he would refuse. Her entire life she had watched men do the impossible to make that happen. Because of this, her attraction to me increased significantly. Why did this happen? Because I did not give her an answer to the question, "What do you want from me?" She saw me as someone who was not serious and was not very interested in entering a relationship. Then she found me rejecting sex. She could no longer understand anything, and this messed with her mind. In other words, one of the best things you can do to become ungettable is to refuse sex. Refusing sex will increase her desire to sleep with you. She will always want to come over because you are not giving her an answer to the question, "What do you want from me?" And let me explain something to you about women. When a woman does not know the answer to the question, "What does this man want from me?" she assumes that the answer is sex. The moment you reject that sex, her entire world turns upside down and she can no longer understand anything. And if there is a girl you like and you want to continue seeing her and enter a long-term relationship with her, it is good to refuse sex from time to time. This will increase her desire to stay with you for a long time. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that nothing is as destructive to inner peace as depending on what is not within our control. When you refuse sex, you are demonstrating that your inner peace does not depend on her approval or her body. You are showing that you are in control of your own desires. And that control is the essence of the ungettable quality. The quality of being ungettable is not about playing games. It is about being a man who is so grounded in his own life, his own purpose, and his own values that he does not need to chase anyone. He does not need to reveal all his cards. He does not need to seek validation. He is simply present, and that presence is magnetic. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly. And the quality of being ungettable is no exception. It is built through the accumulation of small choices, each one building on the last. Each time you choose to communicate with purpose rather than need, you build that quality. Each time you choose to refuse sex from a place of self-control rather than fear, you build that quality. Each time you choose to act like her boyfriend in private while maintaining your independence in public, you build that quality. And as you build it, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes part of your presence. And that presence is what will draw her to you. I hope I explained this quality clearly. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Stay grounded, stay present, and remember, the man who cannot be obtained is not the one who plays games. He is the one who is already whole, and in his wholeness, he becomes the prize that others seek.